The Galactic Council's medical bay fell silent as Dr. Zethkar completed his examination of the human specimen. The insectoid physician's mandibles clicked disapprovingly as he reviewed the bioscan results displayed on his chitinous tablet. "This cannot be correct," he muttered, his compound eyes reflecting the chamber's sterile lighting. Around him, representatives from 12 different species leaned forward in their crystalline chairs, their various appendages, tentacles, and sensory organs focused intently on his findings. Captain Sarah Chen stood motionless on the examination platform, her regulation uniform crisp despite the intensive testing she'd endured for the past 6 hours. She had volunteered to be humanity's representative for the Galactic Strength Trials, the traditional proving ground that determined a species' eligibility for military alliance with the Council. "What seems to be the issue, Doctor?" "Ambassador," Velthari asked, her melodic voice carrying the authority of the ethereal collective. As the Council's current speaker, her translucent form shimmered with barely contained energy. Dr. Zethkar's antennae twitched nervously. "According to these readings, human bone density is only 67% that of a standard Krillian skeleton. Their muscle fiber composition lacks the crystalline reinforcement found in proper warrior species. Most concerning of all," he paused, looking directly at Captain Chen, "their skin can be punctured by something as simple as a sharp piece of metal." A collective gasp echoed through the chamber. The Gorthok representative, a massive boulder-like creature, rumbled with what might have been laughter. "You cannot be serious. This soft flesh expects to stand against our champions?" "The scans don't lie," Dr. Zethkar continued. "Humans possess no natural armor plating, no acid glands, no plasma generation capabilities. They cannot even regenerate lost limbs. By all biological metrics, they are among the most fragile sentient species we've encountered." Captain Chen's jaw tightened, but she remained silent. The terms were clear. She could not speak until formally challenged. "Ambassador," Belthari's form pulsed with consideration. "Perhaps the humans would be better suited to non-combat roles within the Alliance. Logistics, perhaps. Or waste management." The insult hung in the air like a toxic cloud. Several species began discussing humanity's potential relegation to servant status, their voices creating a cacophony of dismissal and derision. That's when Warlord Graktul entered the chamber. The Krillian champion stood nearly 3 meters tall, his obsidian exoskeleton gleaming under the lights. Razor-sharp spines protruded from his arms and back, and his 4 eyes burned with the fire of 1,000 victories. No challenger had ever lasted more than 30 seconds against him in single combat. "I heard there was a new species seeking warrior status," Graktul's voice boomed like grinding stone. "Where is their champion?" Dr. Zethkar gestured weakly toward Captain Chen. "The human female, but surely she wishes to face me?" Graktul's mandibles spread in what passed for a grin among his species. "How delightfully absurd. Very well. I accept her challenge, though I warn the Council. I may accidentally step on her." The chamber erupted in laughter from the assembled species. Only Captain Chen remained unmoved, her dark eyes studying every detail of her opponent's physique. Ambassador Velthari raised a glowing hand for silence. "Captain Chen of Earth, do you accept the challenge of Warlord Graktul, undefeated champion of the Krillian Empire?" "I do," Chen replied, her voice steady and clear. Minutes later, they stood in the Council's combat arena, a circular platform surrounded by energy barriers. The assembled delegates filled the observation galleries, most placing bets on how quickly the human would be defeated. Graktul cracked his knuckles, each digit capable of punching through starship hull plating. "I will make this quick, soft flesh. Your species need not suffer long." Captain Chen rolled her shoulders and settled into a stance that looked almost casual compared to her opponent's aggressive posture. "Take your time." The starting chime echoed through the arena. Graktul charged forward with surprising speed for his size, his massive fists aimed at ending the fight with a single blow. Captain Chen waited until the last possible second, then flowed around his attack like water, her movements precise and economical. The Krillian's punch met empty air. Before he could recover, Chen had moved behind him, her hands finding a specific point where his exoskeleton plates met. She applied pressure. Not much, just enough to create a hairline crack. Graktul spun around, swinging his spiked elbow in a deadly arc. Again, Chen wasn't there. She had already moved to his left side, her fingers pressing against another joint, in his armor. Another tiny crack appeared. "Stand still, coward," Graktul roared, launching himself in a flying tackle. This time, Chen didn't dodge completely. She caught one of his massive arms as he flew past, using his own momentum to send him crashing into the arena floor. The impact shook the entire platform. The crowd fell silent. Graktul rose to his feet, confused but not yet concerned. He had taken no real damage, but as he moved, he noticed something odd. His left shoulder plate felt loose. Captain Chen circled him slowly, her breathing still steady. She had been studying him, learning the weak points in his seemingly impenetrable armor. Every Krillian had them, stress fractures in their exoskeleton where repeated use had created microscopic weaknesses. For the next 10 minutes, the battle continued in the same pattern. Graktul would attack with devastating force, and Chen would slip away while striking pressure points with surgical precision. To the observers, it looked like the human was barely surviving. Only Dr. Zethkar, monitoring the fight's vital signs, began to notice the truth. "Impossible," he whispered. "Her heart rate is actually decreasing." Each strike Chen delivered was calculated, purposeful. She wasn't trying to overpower her opponent. She was dismantling him piece by piece. Where other species would have matched strength with strength, humans had learned to find the flaws in any system and exploit them. The end came suddenly. Graktul, now frustrated and sloppy, launched himself forward in a final desperate charge. Chen stepped into his attack this time, her small fist finding the precise point where dozens of tiny cracks had weakened his chest plate. The sound of shattering exoskeleton filled the arena. Graktul collapsed, his natural armor falling away, in pieces. He was not seriously injured, Chen had been careful about that, but he was completely unable to continue fighting. The arena remained silent for a long moment. Then Captain Chen walked over to her fallen opponent and extended her hand. "Good fight," she said simply. Ambassador Velthari's voice cut through the stunned quiet. How is this possible?" Captain Chen looked up at the observation galleries, addressing the assembled council. "You're right. We are fragile. We break easily. We heal slowly. And we have no natural weapons. But that fragility taught us something that your stronger species never learned." She gestured to Graktul, who was accepting medical attention with bemused dignity. "We learned to think. We learned to study our opponents, to find weaknesses, to turn strength against itself. You see fragility as a weakness, but it made us adaptable. It made us survivors." Dr. Zethkar's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. "Fascinating. Your species has evolved intelligence as a primary survival mechanism rather than physical prowess." "Every species in this council has natural advantages," Chen continued. "But humans have something else. We have the will to overcome our limitations. We don't just survive despite our fragility. We thrive because of what it taught us." Ambassador Velthari's form pulsed with newfound respect. "The Council hereby grants humanity full military alliance status. Welcome to the Galactic Defense Force, Captain Chen." As the assembled delegates erupted in discussion and debate, Captain Chen helped Warlord Graktul to his feet. The massive Krillian looked down at his small opponent with something approaching admiration. "Your species may be fragile," he rumbled, "but you are far from weak." Chen smiled. "That's exactly what we've been trying to tell you.